In the mythical realm where gods and heroes walked the earth, the constellation of conflicts between Hercules and Eurystheus continued to unfold, weaving a tapestry of tales that would be recounted